Um, you were on, what was it where you were on the gun emplacement where you shot down the two Bettys?
It was just before Tarawa, but it was in the Savo Islands.
Yeah.
I've got, there's a thing in the paper, I listed all the battles I was on.
Really? Where's the paper?
It's in my personal paper.
Oh, okay.
And,
But what happened on when they knocked down the two
well,
Bettys?
see, I fought two different kinds of war. A greater majority of it was not on landings, it was protecting the battleships, the cruisers. See, we were the outboard screen for the big fellows.
Yeah.
And we did anti-submarine stuff too. But see, when the planes would come in, we had both dive bombers and then torpedo bombers. Now the big fellows on the battleship, they couldn't shoot the torpedo bombers because their guns wouldn't depress that low. So that's where we would get, because they're right on the surface.
Yeah.
And
Hang on just a sec. Can you take them both out there? I want to. Thanks. Now we're working here.
Good. Jake, come here.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Papa.
and
Let's go outside
and
for a
then-
minute. I want to talk to you.
then we did some the supporting the landing crafts on a couple islands, but we were just a screen for the submarines. All the you've never seen anything quite like it. All the battleships with their 16-inch and the 12-inch, I mean, the cruisers, and then the B-25s. I mean, they were pulverized. But see, the Japs got smart in Tarawa.
Yeah.
They dug underground and they just had little bitty slits and they could withstand all of that, and they acted like it was ready to be subdued. And then whatever got in close to the line, so they got all the landing, boy, tremendous amount. Then when they got within range, see, they knew where the reefs were,
Yeah.
and these guys on the Amtraks, I mean, they just flipped right over in the back. And see, then the Marines were in the water, and it was just pickings.
Oh.
So that's why we were in real closer than normal.
Yeah. Not good, huh? Well, if you're in closer, then you couldn't depress your guns to shoot.
Yeah, but see, yeah, I mean, see, I had, where I came into it on Tarawa is that we were in so close because the range on 40 millimeters is about, a little mile and a half or 2 miles. And see, that's why we got in so close and we ran out of reef.
Yeah.
Because then we were the only ones, because see, we're virtually the same level, so we could penetrate, we could see where the fire's coming from, then we'd shoot for that. And I had a quad 40. And we used so much ammunition, or we shot so much, Lynn, we had to re-gun, get new barrels. And our 5-inch was the same way, because the way it is, fit in there, you have to seal,
Yeah.
and you could have hang fire, or you could have the shells.
What were you doing on the gun? Were you commanding him, or?
I was a gun captain,
Yeah.
and see, I was the one that from the bridge had headphones, and I had a pointer and a trainer, and they operated independently, but then we had automatic. We shifted into that, but we used mostly mano so we could screen the whole thing. And I had a good gun crew, needless to say.
What happened in Korea?
Huh?
What kind of ship were you on in Korea? Was it
When
Korea?
Korea was a destroyer escort. They were built initially to escort, because they could only go 16 knots, that's where we started to go up there with the merchant ships, and we were to go be and screen the merchant ships, and we were all head for Murmansk, and then our orders changed. They run it short in the Pacific.
Okay. So then what happened in China?
Well, that's another. That's when I was on the Topeka. See, during
Yeah.
Mao was coming down in Tsingtao where they had the beer.
Yeah.
They were coming in there, and all the airplanes were leaving and bailing out, and we were the last ship there. And I was not on the cruiser then. It was a troop ship,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in Tsingtao because my ship, I was supposed to make it in Shanghai, and it was down at Chifu or something like that. And so, and then this merchant ship, I mean, it was a Navy, went into Shanghai and dropped me off and got more people.
Were they evacuating people?
Well, a lot of the people, yeah, they were running for it's usually the high-powered people, people like my roommate was a paymaster, and I said one side of a suitcase he had money, and the other was booze,
Yeah.
and he was bailing out, but they caught him.
What, did he steal it or something?
Oh, yeah. So he was leaving the place with all the money,
Wow.
and
So were all the people in Shanghai trying to get on your ship,
that was in Tsingtao.
Tsingtao?
And then we went to Shanghai, and we were the last ship out of, there was a Helena there, and we were the last ships out of Navy fighting craft.
Were they shelling you? Was the bad guys?
Oh, yeah. It was time to get out because when we were in Tsingtao,
Yeah.
it was right, and then they were moving down so fast that by the time we were there, and we did a little operating before we had to bail out, and then you could hear the shelling both Tsingtao and then Shanghai
Yeah.
when they're coming in, but they wanted to protect Shanghai. Now, I mean, they're just mostly troops or some installation they wanted to knock out.
Okay. What you doing, Sal?